Everyone to our weekly webinar. This is Joe Badella, your host for today. We're discussing innovation in the real estate industry. Today, we will discuss how to unlock your clients' crypto assets to fund real estate purchases and how to utilize cryptocurrency loans to purchase hard assets such as real estate. I'm happy to have John O'Shea with us today. John is the CEO and founder of Helio Lending, as well as chairman of the board at CYIOS Corporation. Also with us today, we have Varun Bajaj, who is the director of a $30 million investment portfolio for RKB Investments and Management, as well as an attorney at law and a real estate broker. John, can you share us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I've had 35 years in financial services, worked for stockbroking, funds management, banks, really had a real breadth of experience in lending as well. So, and recently in the last 2 years, we've established Helio Lending, which is a crypto-backed lending company based in Australia, but we have global reach.
Excellent. Thank you, John. And Varun, could you share a little bit about yourself before we get started here as well?
Yeah, so nice to meet everybody here. And I am a cryptocurrency veteran. Bought my first Bitcoin in 2013. I am a real estate attorney as well. And I'm a part of the Real Estate Alliance that Profi has put together. But I give a perspective of the crypto side of things. And when it comes to real estate and crypto, it's a marriage that's inevitable. And I think for agents that understand what's going on in the crypto world, they are really going to propel themselves to be a leader in their areas if they understand their target market, which is cryptocurrency investors. And by the end of this year, there's going to be a lot of people and a lot of wealth that are looking to diversify into real estate. So it's up to the agents to kind of take charge, understand what's going on, and be proactive.
Great. Thank you, Varun. John, let's start off. How do I get a home loan with crypto?
Okay, well, it's actually a really quite simple process, and in fact, so much more simple than a traditional loan. Firstly, you have to own crypto, and let's just use Bitcoin because it's really the fundamental foundation of where it all started. Let's say you had $100,000 worth of Bitcoin. You would come to us. We would take you through the processes of all of the terms and conditions of that loan. And like any margin loan, what we need is a percentage of that we're going to give to you in cash at the end of the loan process. And the percentage of that in cash is determined by the LVR. And so let's just say that we used a 50% LVR on your loan. So we're going to give you 50% of the assets that you hold in fiat or US dollars. To go through that process, you do a very, very simple KYC, which is know your client, which most people have to do to open a trading account, a bank account, or whatever. So photo ID and proof of address. Once that's been achieved, we then transfer the BTC to us. So there's no credit checks. There's no other financials required. We don't have to check your bank accounts. We don't do any other recording of any other data. We don't even need to know why you want to use or where you're going to use the funds. So like a traditional loan, they really want to know and drill down. We don't require any of that information. And then you would transfer your assets to us, which is in a wallet, which if you own crypto, you'll have an appreciation of how that wallet works. It'll just be transferred out of your trading account or your cold storage wallet. As soon as it hits the account, the fiat would be released within 12 hours. So it's a very, very simple process. So we can actually do a loan from start to finish in roughly 24 hours.
And how does that compare to a normal mortgage loan?
Well, a normal mortgage loan in a traditional bank, and if we look at DeFi, which is what we're saying is a decentralized financial institution, it's separate to a traditional bank. So we have very, very simplistic processes that we go through, where a traditional bank is going to ask for a whole lot of assets, liabilities, use of funds, and it's a very, very time-consuming process. In fact, the last mortgage that I got, I think took up to as long as 3 weeks. So this is a very, very quick process, very different to a traditional bank, yet works fundamentally the same way.
And as a homeowner, would I still be able to take advantage of the tax and incentives that original mortgage gives me when I buy a house?
Yeah, well, there's no different. So, and in fact, the beauty of taking out a crypto loan and using that asset from a tax point of view is that you haven't actually sold your underlying asset. You still own your underlying asset. So let's just assume that this $100,000 is sitting in the account and it's going up and down on the daily moves. That's fine. If I was then to take that and to turn that into a loan, I still own that asset. I'm just transferring the ownership to a party to use some of that underlying asset's cash so that I can go and purchase a property, use it for deposit, use it for a holiday, use it for renovations, use it any way in which you so desire. So it works very much like a traditional loan, just that you're using an asset that the banks and other financial institutions don't grade as an asset, where we do. And if you look at Bitcoin, it's over $1 billion. So there's $1 billion of assets that are sitting there that we wanted to untap and allow people to use it for their mortgages, home, whatever the purpose may be. And that's really up to the client.
Varun, how do we get crypto buyers into real estate to go out and get the crypto loans?
Well, I think that comes down to knowledge, right? And branding yourself as a crypto real estate agent expert. So I can speak from experience because I am, an investor and I am entrenched in crypto. So I can tell you and I can assure you, services like what John's providing is a game changer for many, many reasons. And from an investor standpoint like myself, the whole key of these asset-backed loans and the beautiful thing about it is, as he was referencing, we don't actually sell our crypto, meaning there's no tax implications on that as well. So a lot of crypto people don't want to get rid of their actual assets and liquidate. When you have some sort of loan that you can take money against, that's a game changer. So as a real estate agent, in whatever city you are, and we're so very early, a lot of these talks that Natalia and I do on Clubhouse, and just the amount of agents still isn't where it needs to be to show me that, hey, there's a lot of people who understand real estate as crypto as a real estate agent. So you're still brand new, so you need to educate yourself and be like, brand yourself as a real estate crypto expert, learn about stuff like what John's saying, and then it's just marketing yourself, and you'll find crypto buyers.
So if I'm a crypto holder and I'm taking advantage of the high, let's say I have Bitcoin as an example, and the market's way up, I can now leverage that to back my loan without ever cashing in my crypto, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then, so now it's down back to the education, Varun. What can an agent do to become more knowledgeable? And then two, how do they go out and find or market themselves as a crypto agent so that crypto buyers know which of the limited number of agents out there really can understand and help guide them through to then contact, John at Helio and get that crypto loan going?
The key to everything, just like in any business, is to market yourself and to actually put in the work. Don't expect to be like an overnight success. One of my good friends and colleagues is Piper Moretti, and she's a friendly face with Robbie. She spent years dedicating herself to the brand, and she's established herself as one of the experts in the field. But that doesn't mean that there can't be more experts, and so that entails getting to know people like her, Natalia, going to these clubhouses. We do these clubhouses every week, and so there's a growing industry. And by going to something like that, you network with the other real estate crypto people. And again, it's such a small niche community that you have, and the agent has every opportunity to become the leader in their space, in their city. So it's educating and networking, and the easiest platform is Clubhouse, to be honest with you.
All right, so just for a shout out for the agents that are watching that would like to learn more, I believe, Varun, that is Mondays, 4 p.m. Pacific, every Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific on Clubhouse, correct?
Yes, correct. Natalia's from Proppy is there. We do it. Also Piper's there, and then we get Henry Elders. There's a lot of good people there, and then also there's a clubhouse on Wednesdays that I saw yesterday that those two ladies were on, hosted by a different group, which I also think is really good to know. So between those two events, you really get to meet the people interested in this space, and you learn more about what's going on.
All right, so Varun, because of the way John explained how advantageous it is for a crypto owner to obtain a home loan with crypto, would that make a crypto buyer in this crazy market more appealing for an agent?
You mean crypto for an agent in terms of, well, yeah, I mean, because you now open up your network to a bigger group of buyers and therefore clients. So the bull run, if you're in crypto, I would venture to say most people believe what I believe, and that is, we're in a 4-year bull, not to get too technical, but Bitcoin goes through cycles. It's a 4-year bull run cycle, meaning that the cycle is going to end this year or like early next year. So what happens is people are going to want to diversify and get into hard assets like real estate. So it's attractive from a buyer's point of view, because now you have clients that want to use you, right? You're getting commission from either the buyers or the sellers. So target the buying audience, which is the crypto people who want to unload crypto and not liquidate, but diversify before the bull run's done. So that is very attractive.
I think that's really, really valid point. It's the diversification of an asset, which I think underlying will really help the real estate industry, because a lot of the traditional people in crypto may not even own real estate because that's their major investment. And so you're actually able to diversify them out of that into a more traditional investment, which is great. The other thing that Helio offers is we're an aggregator. And that means that what we have done is developed a solution around choice. So we have at the moment 7 lending variations on our platform. By the end of the month, that will be nearly 10. So if a client comes to us, we do all the shopping for them. We do all the work for them. So whether you're the agent or the purchaser, we take all of that mystification and take it all out, and we actually handhold you through the process and then put you in place of the perfect loan that's going to suit you and your desired outcomes. So we're here to educate, help, and basically guide, whether it's the agent or the buyer.
So, John, if I wanted more information on how I can take advantage of my crypto holdings, diversify my portfolio, and obtain some hard assets like real estate, where do I go?
If you go to heliolending.com, go into either the email or contact us, or go through the loan process, which is less than a minute, just giving us some details. We'll contact you, and one of our advisors will come out and speak to you either through one of the apps that you want to use or email, and we'll basically take you through the whole process, and we'll hold your hand to do that.
Excellent, thank you. And Varun, you mentioned a little bit more about a crypto real estate alliance. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, so that is an alliance that we were all selected to. It's in tandem with Proppy. So Proppy, we were voted on to become a part of a decentralized alliance that have no affiliation to Proppy. I have no affiliation because I, got known Natalia. And our goal is to basically onboard new real estate professionals with licenses. Only, it could be agents, it could be title, whatever, in the United States. Introduce them to the Proppy platform, and in return, they are given Proppy tokens. So we're allocated, quite a fairly sizable amount of Proppy tokens that, the utility token that governs the Proppy software system. And again, it's all about exposure to agents to get into crypto. It could be their first foray into crypto, but it's something that is pretty important. And it could be, it's fun, it's a 3-month lockup period, but we do campaigns. We just did our first campaign yesterday for the first 72 hours. If you sign up on the link that is being shared around, you'll receive 1,000 Proppy tokens. they do have monetary value because of the market right now. I think it's 80 cents each. So we don't, we have no control over that, but there is monetary value in that. So we want to educate people to understand crypto, because if you're going to get a crypto real estate buyer or seller as a client, you need to understand the basics. Because from perspective, if I'm an investor and I want to buy a house and I use an agent and the agent doesn't understand anything about crypto, I'm instantly going to find somebody else, because you want to speak their language. You want to, it's all about familiarity, comfort. And as a crypto investor, I want to deal with an agent who understands what I'm going through. So it's imperative that if you haven't started learning about not property, just crypto, please learn, sign up for Property Token, and let's start today.
So if I wanted to, let's say, take a $500,000 long-term loan to buy a home, all right, that's the whole goal here. What are some of the lenders in the platform?
So we have all of the major lenders, so Celsius, Salt, that all are available in the market. And we have some very boutique offerings as well. So there's some very unique offerings. All of the loans have different shapes and sizes and different requirements, as we find with most companies. So we've gone out and done all that work for the client, whether it's the agent or the buyer. But I think one of the things that Varun said then, which is really interesting, and that is you need to speak their language. Crypto people fundamentally are no different to what individuals in the IT were when we first started the internet. They knew something that we didn't know. They understood how powerful it was. They developed gadgets and developed IP. And we now have things that we know, which is Google and so forth. The crypto world is very similar, and that is that they are advanced in what they're doing. They believe in the asset. They understand how the asset works, but it's not overly complicated. And so what Poppy's doing and what they're talking about there with the token is a great way to start that journey. But I think groups like us combining together, using each other's strengths to really help these individuals. But because if you're not in this space in the next 5 years, you are going to be left behind.
So now back to me as an agent. As an agent, how do I get more information on becoming part of the Crypto Real Estate Alliance or Crypto Certified Agent? Varun, can you speak on that?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just a matter of seeking out. Everything is there if you seek and you want to learn. No one's going to hold your hand and be like, hey, listen, here you go, to every agent. It's really up to the agent to be like, do I want to be left behind, or do I want to be on the forefront and learn? If you have the appetite to learn, everything is there. Go to property.com, check out what's going on there. You can see what the alliance page is. You can find out more on clubhouses. But at the end of the day, you need to put in the work, but it's work that's going to separate you from literally every other agent. And, this call is really good too, because I'm absolutely going to probably use John's services, and I've never met him, and it's a pleasure to meet you, John. But what he's doing is, I can't understate enough. That is what we, and not just crypto people, but actually crypto people are going to be all about. And if you're an agent, just knowing what John's, business model is and what you are capable of doing, you're going to separate yourself from everyone else. And there's a lot of money, and like crypto is a $2 trillion asset. So it's not just pennies, Bitcoin is just one little portion. There's a whole slew of money in cryptocurrency. So these people are going to want to diversify, and just aim yourself with as much knowledge as possible. And if you're on this call and you're listening in, you're ahead of the game.
All right, so John, I have a question. I come to you, I want a $500,000 long-term loan. I got an idea for what my fees are with the regular mortgage. What are the rates, fees, what I'm looking at for cost?
Okay, and it's a really good point. And fees are important, but they're not the fundamental underlying major concern. Security and protection of the underlying asset is number one, and that's really important. So the client's asset is insured and protected. So that's firstly. Secondly is the loan terms are a lot shorter than what you would traditionally understand for a mortgage loan. And that is that they go from 1 month to 1 year. Now you can roll them over. So if you took a very short-term loan of say 1, 3, 6 months, you can actually roll them over at the end of that period. There are no other fees with the loan. So the only fee that you ever pay is the interest. Now the interest does vary, and it varies on a number of things. One, on demand and supply. So as the market's getting very, very hot, the cost of capital goes up. And when there's not as much demand, the cost of capital goes down. We can do loans from 0 interest rate up to around about 12%. And they vary on the underwriter, the terms and conditions, what you as an individual require. And so we can really gauge that. But fundamentally, if you look at the asset, you're not selling the asset, you're only transferring the asset so you can get that cash. At the end of the loan period, let's say you wanted to pay the loan out. You're in the capability to pay it out in cash, that's fine. 100% of all of your asset would be returned, less the interest, unless you paid the interest in advance. In the event that you wanted to use your crypto to pay the loan down, and so therefore you wanted to keep the cash, you could do that as well. And so it's very flexible the way how you can pay it down. It's very flexible on the term because we're not really tying you up to a 30-year contract or a 10-year contract. It's very basic in the way in which it's formulated. And so it's really catered to the client and catered to the market that the client's sitting in, which hold crypto.
If I could just jump right in for a second. John, you are offering some really good education, and Arun is saying that we need to reach out and share this kind of information. And that's the purpose of these kinds of webinars, to spread the good word about this. I would also point out that Proppy does offer a crypto certification course for agents to be experts and to talk the language of crypto and to be able to talk about the options, alternatives to traditional mortgages. So maybe I could put in the chat a link to our certification page.
Yes,
and I think
please.
that certification, I've looked at that, and I think it's a fantastic project, and it's a really, really something that Helio would love to support and be involved with as well, because I think that's a really key point. Vernon said it, you're saying education, but this is not overly complicated. When you find out and demystify it, you're going to find that it's very, very simple, and it's going to be great for your clients.
Absolutely. And then if I could interject too, it is, don't feel that this space is too difficult to grasp. It's really not. Once you have the, the fire you need to learn, there's a lot of topics that can just be simplified in any such way for anyone to feel comfortable. And also, if you want to find out more about the Proppy Alliance and you want to actually get some tokens in your real estate licensed professional, follow me on Twitter, follow Piper Meridian on Twitter. We post anything, or if you're on Instagram, Facebook, she's on those, I'm on Twitter, we can link up and get your first foray into crypto. And you'll see what it's all about and why people like myself are just so much about it. We do believe this is the future. And hopefully you guys start seeing that as well.
And Gwyneth, if you can, if you have Piper Moredi's Twitter handle and Varun's, if you can put that in the chat as well. Yep. John, we have a question from the audience. I believe you said, you're from Australia.
Yep.
Is Helio only for Australian crypto buyers?
No, we're a fully global company. We can take loans from anywhere around the world. And in fact, most of the lending partners we have are US based. But they do have offices all around the world as well. So we're not restricted like traditional loans where you're boundaried usually to the demographic that you're in. We have clients from all over the world, and we facilitate that. All the documentation obviously is in English, but we're global without a doubt.
Great, thank you. And for our listeners, if you want to hear more about blockchain, crypto, and real estate, you can always go up to proppy.com, resources, and check out our webinar page where we post past recordings of sessions just like this today. So as we ran down, John, any final comments? And then Varun, will go to you.
Oh, I think what's been discussed today is really key. We're talking about a simple product, untap or tapping into an asset that the client has that you may not have been realised is actually a really good asset for them to use. Education's key, and you've got some great people here that are going to take you along that journey. And I think that don't be scared about it. Get involved with it, and I think that you'll really benefit your clients, which is key.
Thank you, Varun.
I would say to any agents listening to this, Coinbase just had their IPO. Bitcoin is around $60,000 and most likely will go to about $250,000 this cycle. This is a moment where crypto is not going away. In fact, it's just beginning. And there's going to make more generational wealth than ever before. These people in crypto are going to be your potential clients, people that want to diversify into real estate. It is your job to realize this. Be the forefront in this industry. Be the crypto agent that they go to trust in your area, and you will have a massive, massive advantage versus everyone else. Be a leader. Don't be a follower. Follow the crypto rabbit hole. We're very nice, and it's a fun time, and I think you will enjoy it.
Appreciate it. I want to thank Varun. I want to thank John very much for attending with us today. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you next Wednesday on Properties Weekly Webinar. Thank you all.